Hello everybody, how are you? Here we are in Pittsburgh. The night has fallen. Why do they say that? The night has fallen. Really? It fell? And we're doing another video in our series of videos on Pittsburgh neighborhoods. In this case, it's going to be New Alexandria, and there's so much going on in New Alexandria, it's going to be hard to keep up with, but I'll do my best. I am not an expert. I learned this from somebody that was in a chair next to me in the waiting room at the dentist. They were going in for a molar, and I just had to have a basic cleaning. And we got to talking, and they told me all about it. And they said I should put this video together. So here we go, New Alexandria. Now, New Alexandria, you would think, like New York, or some towns, maybe not New York, but some towns in the New World were named after towns in the Old World. Like, hey, we came from Alexandria. This is New Alexandria. But that was not the case for New Alexandria, guys. Because the old name for New Alexandria was Old Alexandria. Now, I know that's hard to believe, but it used to be called Old Alexandria. Now, why was it named that? Well, at the beginning of the middle of the 18th century, 1700s. So around 1750, a woman got off of the train coming from Philadelphia, and she was going to make a big impact in Pittsburgh, guys. She was determined to make a big impact in Pittsburgh. And her name was Alexandria. And Alexandria was 78 years old when she got off the train in P-Town. And she figured, I don't have much time to make an impact, so she found a part of Pittsburgh that needed leadership, that needed vision, that needed direction, that needed her skills of verbal acuity, as well as a certain social awareness that allowed her to get people to do what she wanted to do and make them feel good about it. And they called her Old Alexandria, and they said it with a loving tone in their voice because this lady was taking that community into, at that time, was the new era of achievement and discovery and innovation. And remember that at that time, Pittsburgh was about to start what was really not quite yet realized. It was more later in the century, a manufacturing revolution, right? And so she saw that as an opportunity for Old Alexandria. She named the town after herself, and she rammed it through the city council, and they thought, well, maybe that's not the most appealing name because it sounds somewhat older and tired, and we want to be young and vibrant and new and attract people. But it didn't matter because those are the qualities that she evidenced: vibrancy, newness, innovation. At the age of 78, she had more on the ball than people half her age, and she was driving that town along with Pittsburgh into the new age, guys. And if you really think about it, if you want to get something done right, you give it to a woman with skills and organization, and she had it. Because women don't get quite so caught up in the ego as guys do. They just don't. They can, and at times do, but not near as often as guys. Come on. And women are much more collaborative and supportive. And so she was able to use those qualities as a woman, along with her own interpersonal communication skills and leadership skills and self-awareness, her emotional intelligence, to make Old Alexandria into a powerhouse of a community long before any other community out there in the sticks was able to do it. And so it wasn't long before Pittsburgh started looking around and going, something we can learn is going out there in the sticks. And they sent an envoy to see what was going on. And of course, who did they send? A couple guys. And they rolled up to the courthouse, to the administration building, and they asked to see her. And of course, she was very welcoming and asked her if they wanted to have some hickory chicory coffee. Hickory chicory coffee, and they did after that journey from P-Town. And they said, we respect what you're doing out here so much, we wanted to see what you're doing. And then one guy had the audacity and misfortune of saying, especially because, no offense, Miss Alexandria, but we don't see much of this level of achievement from a lady. Oh, that was the wrong thing to say. She gave him a polite response, but a response nonetheless that cut to the quick and told them they've got to change their attitude. They came out there to see how she did it. That's how she did it, guys. She's trying to explain to them in her curt, blunt, but straightforward response that a lot of the problems they're having are already evidenced in their opening gambit. She said, guys, you gotta lose the sexism if you want to move your town forward. That treatment of women that the old world found normal, she said, is going to be kicked to the curb like a pumpkin the day after Halloween. And so far, even though you may not have meant to offend, you did. And she said, am not a person that gets offended because I'm a blunt talker myself. But you've shown your cards before we even bet, and you showed me that you guys are sexist in your attitude, even though you may love and support the women in your life, your wives, your children, your daughters, your nieces, and your grandmothers. But the wheel of time is turning, guys, and it turns slowly, but it turns nonetheless. And unless you change your views and change your outlook and give modern women the support they need to achieve and prosper in the new world, in the new age, in the late 1700s and early 1800s, then your town, P-Town, the burg, is going to fall behind. You're going to fall behind to Philadelphia. You're going to fall behind to Youngstown. You're going to fall behind to Cleveland. You're going to fall behind to Toledo and Detroit, and possibly even the Windy City, Chicago. Do you hear what I'm saying? And whoa, those two guys were looking down at the ground. It was like their teacher in third grade caught them shooting spitballs, and they were getting the what for. And she didn't mean to make it a harangue, but she wanted to make the point that this was their opportunity to take Pittsburgh into the new era of achievement and enlightenment. And the way to do that, one of the major ways to do that, a key component, was changing the way that women are treated in the workplace. Treated in the educational halls, treated in the community organizations, in the leadership roles, everything. And it's not like they can't handle it, it's the other way around. They will make it better than the men were doing because of skills they have inherently as women, but also due to their intelligence and commitment and conviction and grit on a personal level, as those qualities exist or don't for each individual. One more is creative, one more is analytical. This one over here has high emotional intelligence. This one over here is an engineer. This one is a poet. This one is a teacher. This one is a singer. This one is a doctor. And just like men, they have their skills and talents on an individual basis, but we must, she said, start to treat women as a whole differently. And so old Alexandria was doing the Lord's work by driving her town, old Alexandria, and encouraging and maybe even chastising Pittsburgh to do the same. And so, guys, that's what is going on in New Alexandria today, because they decided to honor her by changing the name to New Alexandria. And you know what you have there today, guys? You have women in New Alexandria that are carrying the mantle of old Alexandria by leading that community into the new era today. In today's new era, some 200 years later. Guys, it's just another example of the excitement that's going on in Pittsburgh. And you got to get over here. You got to get on a plane. You got to get on a train. You got to get in the car and throw the kids in the back seat and drive to Pittsburgh, guys, because you're missing out on everything that's going on here. And I'm the one that's bringing it to you. All these other travel vlogs, blogs, channels, what do? They go to the top of the overlook and they go, look at how beautiful that city is, and it is. But I'm getting down into the nooks and crannies to meet the people on the street. I'm the guy that's on the ground. Boots on the ground. Or you might say, receding hairline, expanding waistline on the ground. And that's me. But either way, however you receive the information, just know that Pittsburgh is on fire. And you should come over here and visit and enjoy the food, enjoy the friendly people, and head over to New Alexandria and just see what they're doing. If they're doing it, it's like a rocket taking off, guys. All right, that's it for now. And remember, this has been a Joe Ditzel parody. And come back for more, lots more.